Well, it's been a while, but we're back. I had no internet all over the weekend, so I kind of got busy with 3D software. I've been working on a little project that I've been wanting to work on for a while, and I thought maybe while I'm finishing it up, I might just stream it for all of you guys to see exactly what I'm doing and what's happening. So, let's get down to it. I'll show you what I've got so far. So let's open the file. We are modeling Sylvanas Windrunner from World of Warcraft. And now as soon as Blender decides it wants to catch up and open the file, we'll have a look at things, shall we? There's still a few parts of it left to do. I've got a lot of work to do with textures. And I didn't realise I actually had my camera in the corner on this one. So I'm just going to be doing a little bit of twiddly diddling. And there we go. Let's open that back up. Right, we have got some basic modeling. We'll zoom out to camera view. It's a lot easier than trying to scroll. We have got a lot of subdivision surfaces and all the rest of it here, and of course it's being slower than usual because of course I am streaming as well. But this is basically what we've got. As you can see, she's missing her shoulder armor, she's missing her gloves, and of course missing hair. But so far the rest of it is pretty much in place. She's also missing a quiver. The cape needs a better texture. All of the metalwork needs to be retextured and redone. The skeleton is all there, although I don't particularly like the way this rig works, but you can't have everything. So we're just going to move that out of the way and hide it because it's just getting in the way of everything. So where do we want to start? We'll get rid of the dull stuff first. We'll sort out the metalwork on the armor. Let's zoom right in. Right, I've got dull metal for all of my metalwork now. At the time I was offline, didn't have access to CG textures, and I don't really like that. It doesn't work as well as I'd hoped it would. So what we're going to do is we're going to universally change that metal for something a bit more. Oops, I've overdone it with that window resize. And of course everything is being laggy. So dragging the windows back to where I want them isn't working too well. So, as you can see, I do tend to kind of... This is my thinking stick. We have got our metal texture set up just there, but we don't like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to make new ones. We will go with Crazy Bump. Because Crazy Bump is awesome. If you want to copy a crazy bump, just Google it. I can't remember the name of the website that it comes from. But you can get a free demo version. The demo lasts for 30 days. And it helps you make all your normal maps, all your bump maps, your specularity maps, and everything else, all from one little image. Right, now I happen to know that I've got my metal texture that I want. We'll go, is it galvanized I want, or is it the... We'll go with the bare metal. We'll open it up. There won't be a whole lot to see when it does its thing, but... We'll go with the first one, because the first one is usually the better of the two. First one's the normal, the second one is kind of reverse. So if you got a dome shaped, the first one will be the dome shape, the second one will be a concave. So we got our normals, our displacement, which we probably won't be using, our occlusion, our specularity, and our diffuse. That is all wonderful. So we will save all of those textures. Eventually it'll pop up my save dialog. There we go. I really should probably have rebooted my machine before I started. But, well, we can't do everything, can we? Alright, so we got Blender textures, which is up there, so we want to save them in there. We'll rename our file because we don't want all the numbers. And we'll add a space. Well, maybe we won't add a space. And I should have saved them as JPEGs. Because for some reason JPEG seems to be easier on the system than PNGs, but it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference. But anyway, we want to change our dull metal texture, which we're using for basically everywhere where there's metal. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to change our color texture. So we want to open a new texture. Because we've not loaded this one up into Blender yet, so... And our file is called Metal Bear. I just saw it, and we want the color one. We'll open the image. We want to alter our normals as well because we still got the previous scratch texture, which we don't really want. Oops, I was actually trying to draw a bounding box. Metal Bear normal map. As you can see, that smoothed it all out nicely. I want a little bit of a shine to it, which The shine's alright as it is at the moment. We also need to change our scratch. So back into Blender textures. So this will give us our specularity map, so we want our specularity PNG. Now without occlusion, but there's so little point. And maybe I might, I don't know. I can never remember whether I've got that input on the right one or not. Actually seems to make absolutely no difference. Do we put in occlusion on this or don't we? Yeah, let's put an occlusion in. So press Shift A to add a texture. I've got to try and remember how to do this because I don't often use them. So it's a case of jogging my own memory. So we'll open a file. And just over on the other side, I'm going to be Googling to make sure that I get the settings that I want. So in Blender Textures, we go back over there, Metal, Occlusion. All occlusion does is give you an added little bit of extra depth as far as the reality goes, as far as a realistic image goes, which when you're going for something like this, you're going for as real as possible, which means I probably have to add this also into the brow texture and this texture that I've used on all of the armor. Right, now if I remember rightly, it's an add shader. If I remember rightly. And then you drag in your occlusion over there, which it doesn't seem to want to do. Has it linked? Yes, I think now it has. Is it add? Just one moment. Just got to double check this. Because I may even have got the specularity one wrong as well. Because I can't remember whether it's supposed to be black or whether it's supposed to be white. Specularity. That was actually supposed to have been mix. And oh god, I plugged into the wrong port. Our mix is supposed to go in the factor here. So get rid of that one completely. Oh, it's gone all black. Don't worry, don't panic. Because that little noodle there wasn't plugged in. But now we're all good. Put us a value in. There we go. So now when we put our occlusion in, and now we're talking about displacement, occlusion, that needs to be a color, I'm sorry, a shader mix. No, it doesn't. That's the wrong sort. So mix RGB. And we need to change that to multiply. So now, when we look at our rendered version, which it'll get there eventually. This is a lower res render, so as you can see, our metal's a lot grayer now. Still not grey around here, but that's because the UV mapping still needs to be done. Now, let's turn it back to material, and we'll select the cod piece, and now we want the purple bra top. We need to change that back to a mix. We need to put that back in the factor. totally get rid of that because it's redundant. Ah, it's all black. But don't worry, we will fix. Alright, there we go. That's looking a bit prettier in the window now, isn't it? We'll also add us some occlusion in there, shall we? And there's our image texture. Which we need to kind of move down and out of the way a little bit. Because we need a little bit of space. Texture. Image texture. There we go. We need our color RGB mix, which we will drop just there. This wants to, of course, go into color 2. And set to multiply. Now we need to open this. Blender textures. And there's our occlusion. At least I think that's our occlusion. Hope I got the right file name. So now when we plug that into there, if it's plugged in at all, which it now seems to be, we will make sure that all of our nodes are in the right place. The only thing I do want to do is grab a UV vector and just slam it in there. Okay, so we've added some occlusion to our tortoiseshell texture. But anyway, like we was doing before, we will get back to there. Now what we don't want the node editor now. What we want is our UV editor. We will open an image. Back into our Blender texture folder. I wish it'd just go there first time every time. Metal bear color. Helps if I click open texture, thinking I can type while it opens. Now that is massively huge and big. But what we need to do now is we need to go into edit mode. We need to unwrap. We will go project from view bounds. So that'll make it as large as it can be. So that's that one taken care of. Now let's go back to object mode, select there, ooh, that looks nasty, but that's because it's trying to UV unwrap normally, so we'd go UV, project from bounds, and when we tab out, there we go. We've now got our proper metal texture there. So we also need to do the danglies. So select all, UV from bounds again, and there's our little dangly doofers. So we'll select all, we also need to do these, and this, and this, and a bit around the top. I think I've just selected the whole down bra. There we go. Go into edit mode. That's only let me do them one at a time. Oops. Did not want to do that. I wanted to press U. Project from view bounds. And hello to Ali, who has joined us, watching me look at fictional character's crotch, as you do. edit mode, select all, unwrap. Ali currently in the chat with me, which is yay and stuff. Select just the parts that are metal. Unwrap. Bounds. Also need to replace that leather as well because I don't like it. Very, very disturbing conversations going on in chat at the moment. I'll zoom in on the shoes because there's a couple areas of metal there that we're going to need to play with. We'll do that from the front though. Okay, so edit mode. Everything was metal. And then we want to unwrap it. And bounds. And select all. And of course the leg plates. Of course it's the wrong part selected. So I'll select the metallic bit. Unwrap. Yep, I've just squick-dally out. And that's that done. And now the swirly S. Edit. Select all. Unwrap. Bounds. And that takes care of that one. Fiddly little tiny fiddly bit. Edit mode. Select all. We're currently discussing how best Sylvanas is the leader of the undead, for those of you who've never played World of Warcraft. So she's not technically alive. Now, Ali brought up the point that she would be like a cold, dead fish. And we're currently discussing ways of warming her up. Yeah, very disturbing stuff. And there we go. I believe that's all the metalwork taken care of. Now, there is a little bit of a problem. With this. Especially in the legs. So we'll go back to our node editor. what we'll do is we will edit mode. No, we don't want edit mode yet. We want to copy that material. No, what is it? I got the wrong one. We'll copy that material. We'll add a new material. Right, now we need to rename that. Leather straps. Purple leather straps. Now, if we select that, what we should be able to do paste the material. Yep, which we have. So now we've got our image texture there. Now what we need to do is actually to make it a bit darker. So what we'll do is we'll knock down the brightness some. Right, so that should hopefully have fixed our straps, apart from the fact that we've got to go to edit mode. We've got to take the stuff that was that strap. I've selected too much. And we then assign it to the new color. And then up here, same again. Select the stuff that was the straps. May have to redo the embroidered leg armor. unfortunately with the lag due to streaming, it's making scrolling very slow going. And assign. Now what we will do is we will save off. We'll close off our node editor for the moment. We'll come out of edit mode. We'll go to camera view. Eventually. We'll turn our resolution down for our preview. Not that much, we'll just put it at 150. And because we're already saved, we should be able to just hit render and see how our changes worked. Work how we wanted it to. We always change it for a different one, and all we have to do then is change those 4 image textures. But I think I can already see a problem. Yep, our cod piece now seems to be lacking any sort of colour. It's white, which is not good. So we'll escape out of there. Close that window. We'll go back into our node editor and see what went wrong. Let's have a look at our materials. Mix. think it's that 0.5. Trying to swap these around. There we go, we have some colour back. We now have a bit of colour back, which is good. Colour is good. Now we will save that because it's a fairly major change. And then we'll hit render again. Now, unfortunately, it's using a lot of memory to stream, so renders are going to take a while. And it's just to me that I have no idea if anybody was actually here in the chat because, as usual, my dashboard paused out on me and just froze. Not good, but yeah. But yes, we have now got colour going on, which is good. It's not sort of a white. Obviously the lighting isn't how it's going to be in the final version. Oh, I spotted something else wrong. So we'll stop that render before it gets too far on. We'll go here. We'll go with that. Instead of dragging open new windows, we'll just open the node editor in the main window. And swaps time. I've got the brightness far too dark. I'll try -1. Oh, it's still too dark. -0.05. Yep, that seems to work. So another save. back to our 3D view. And just for obviously that leather strap is going to need some more work, but we're getting there. I still haven't figured out what the problem is with Twitch, why it keeps disconnecting my preview stream. It's irritating. Yeah, I need to do some work on the top part of the leg armor there because the embossed texture. Move this over. The embossed texture that you can see here isn't showing on the way I want it. That may just be something as simple as a displace though. light outdoors in the sunshine view. Now we can set about crotch. Not so sure about the specularity on the metal though, so I think we'll just remove that specularity map. Because it's doing us no favours. That's too shiny. No, that's too shiny. Go 0.125. There we go, that'll do. And back to the 3D view. Right, so I wanted to look at this leg armour. Now, I can't remember if there's a displacement on here or not. Mirrored, yada yada yada. Okay, then what we'll try and do is we'll add a displacement and see what that does. We will select that part of the leg armour. And we will... Oh, no, we've got to separate it first. And then we need to take that, and we need to take the rest of it, and parent it all up. Alright, now that we got that separated, we will add a displace modifier. Get a new texture. I'm pretty sure that I made a displace texture for this. Go with the displace texture. Which is going to be CDE. Emboss leg trim displaced. Yep, there's our displacement, which is far too strong, so we will go with 0.012. No, 0.012. Go with the normals. Okay. So now we've got our armor pretty much sent up. Don't like this leather. So let's find some new leather. When it'll open up. CG textures, good old CG textures, there for all your texturing needs. Max keyframe interval is currently set at 66 seconds, please set it to 2. God knows how I do that, because according to XSplit, the maximum it can go is 2 seconds. I don't get what that setting is screwing up, or how it's screwing up, or why, or whether it's just Twitch being Twitch. Ooh, it doesn't like white backgrounds, does it? The chroma key is going absolutely ballistic. Right. We want leather. So I'll look through and see if there's something vaguely close to what we want. Now that's not too bad. It's not too good either. Come on, CG textures, don't let me down. CG textures let me down. Google image search it is then. Worn brown leather. So look for image results. That's not bad. My God, somebody's shouting their head off. Well, I've only seen one that I reasonably like, and it is this one. But it's nice and big, which is good. So we will save the image. Save it to the desktop because that's where everything goes. I think might just have to put that through Photoshop as well, just to rotate it. My apologies for the next door's dogs barking their heads off. While we're in Photoshop, we also have to do a texture for the cape, but the texture for the cape's going to be nice and easy. And I also need to change the image texture on the banding because that's supposed to be a silver color rather than gold. of course Photoshop takes its time to load up, because Photoshop always does. I've still got no live video, which is wonderful. Hopefully you guys all can see. If you can't, please let me know, because I'm totally clueless here. Hurry up, Photoshop. Alright. Open an image. That is on the desktop. Brown leather texture. That's the one. Thinking about it. Ta-da! So what we want to do is we just want to take the whole image and rotate it 90 degrees. Right, so first things first. Make a background from that layer, or a layer from that background. I'm just going to hit refresh on my preview. I clicked OK. Thank you. Why is there a text layer there? You need to go away. Image rotation 90 degrees counterclockwise. Awesome sauce. Save for web. I will save it over the one we got there because we won't be needing that one. While we're here in Photoshop, we will also do our cape. Increase that out a little so I can actually see. Might be under S. Now the way I'm thinking this is going to work is I could just take my eraser a fairly big size, 100% hardness, we'll take the size up. I forgot to. Well, hopefully what I can do is select color range. I'll select our white. Which didn't work properly. There we go, we're deleted now. So back to our eraser brush. We'll lower that down a bit. Let's get rid of our selection. Couple more there. Bring it back up a bit. More. And a couple there. Now if I've done my working out right, it's just a case of lining up the UV to it. So I'll save that for the web. As a PNG. And optimize quicker. You should be more optimal at your optimizing. Go on Photoshop, you can do it. Huzzah! So we'll save that as holes. And we'll save that off. And then we can close out Photoshop for a while, save on a few resources. Don't forget, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, or you want to keep track of when I'm streaming, when I'm not, and when I'm making an ass of myself, don't forget to hit the favorite button. I can do with all the followers I can get. Hello, dog. What do you want, dog? Let's introduce you to Dog. Come on, Dog. This is Dog. Dog is dumb. You fluffy little doofus. Yes, you're a fluffy little doofus. Don't you woof at me. Don't you woof at me. She's being argumentative. Oh, I forgot to do the band. Oh well. We'll do that a little bit later. Now, once Blender catches up, it didn't like sharing its resources with Photoshop one little bit. Settle down. I said settle down. Alright, this is the part we want, because I don't like this leather. over to our materials. Brown leather. And now I've got the theme song from Super Mario Brothers stuck in my brain. To our node editor. We want to change the image textures. All I've got in there is the normal map. Let's just open it up and see how it looks to start with. We'll open this one in a new window because I forgot to put my leather texture in my Blender folder. Because when I clean my desktop up, it will just lose itself. And then I'll be left with bright pink. And bright pink just looks ugly. So there's our brown leather texture right there. There's our Blender textures. So we'll move it over. We'll get rid. And I forgot what the hell I just called that. Oh, it'd be the only one that's on its own. Brown textured leather is the only one on its own. So it has to be that one. My dog's being a doofus again. See how that matches up with the resource image. And it's a little bit bright. So let's try and be brightness and contrast node. I'll try bringing it down. Whoops. Yeah, clicking on the input port is going to do absolutely nothing. What am I doing? Other than making Blender have a hissy fit. I'll go brightness minus 0.5. Oops, that's way too much. Minus. .05. See what our preview comes up like when it eventually does. If it eventually does. Hello, update please. Try that as well. See if that'll eventually get around to updating. Yeah, that's a little bit better colour. The shiny's a bit too shiny though. Although I must say I did kind of like the specularity that was on there, so we'll open up a texture. And Blender crashed. Yay! Knew it was going to eventually. Welcome to my very cluttered desktop. And infinite me. Oh, while Blender loads. We go back here, we'll wait for it all to get back to how it should be. Eventually. Really got to hang my green screen a bit better. The differences in light are not helping it. So we go back to where we were. Open recent. This is why you always save and save often in Blender. Because you never know when it's going to go and crash on you. Right, now where did it leave me off? Into our 3D editor. And then what we'll do, we've got our cloak texture. We'll whack that on and see what happens. If Blender ever catches up. Let's look at it from the back. Now we'll look at the whole thing. Not too worried about this bit up here by the shoulders because the shoulder pads will cover it. Although I am going to have to repair that. But that's no biggie. Right. Node editor again. Oops. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. My dog is being a monumental pain in the butt. Lay down, Simmy. I see what I did here. I haven't actually put an image texture on here yet. It's just a color. But that's okay, because the color wasn't actually right, I don't think. That's what the problem was. So we need to add an image texture. Which will plop up here. We'll plug the color into there and watch it turn all horrible. Oh, actually, what we need to do is we need to first put in a new texture. And we need to take the hood and the cape. We need to copy the material. And we need to paste the material. Again, really? I think Blender is just going to be an ass for me. Like I say, I really did need to reboot. Oh well, I think we might just call that a stream. We will have done with it. And I'll continue working on it on some other point. I'll try and stream it if I can. I'll definitely remember to reboot the computer. But until next time, take care. Don't forget to click follow. If you're watching this on YouTube, click subscribe. And we'll see you again soon.